Here's how to overcome self-doubt and build confidence when you don't really have any. If you're feeling depressed, it's probably because you've been focusing on the past. If you've got a lot of anxiety in your body, it's because you're focusing on the future. The right way to approach your time is to be in the now, be here. And I understand it's easy for me to say, but even when I was growing up, I had a really tough childhood. I grew up in addiction and violence and emotional trauma and just, group homes, foster homes, even ended up in prison a couple times. So I went through a lot of kind of bouts with self-doubt and not feeling very good about myself because for a long time, people always said how bad I was or where they thought they expected more from me. So I want to walk you through the 4 key strategies that I use not only to get out of the darkness that I found myself as a teenager, but even as I've progressed in my entrepreneurial career to overcome some of these setbacks and challenges where I was just full of self-doubt, wondering if I was even doing the right thing or how I was ever going to be successful. I want to teach you these 4 strategies so you can avoid all the mistakes I've made and move even faster. Number 1 is you got to keep the commitments to yourself, the ones you make in private, that you never share out loud. Things like what time you're going to wake up or the books you're going to read or the new habits you're going to add or, going to the gym. A lot of times it's when we make those commitments to ourselves and we don't keep them that we start to erode our self-confidence. One of my favorite pieces of art that I've gotten commissioned is this guy right here, because this is how I felt when I ballooned to over 265 pounds at 21 years old. I wasn't the person physically that everybody else saw. My confidence was almost zero, but I knew inside, there was a little seed of me that knew inside that there was this guy that could chisel himself out of that to become way more. And that's my invitation to you. When you think about the commitments to getting up early, it's not, does it add to my day? Can I be more productive? It's the fact that you're doing something hard. If you decide, tomorrow I'm going to do a cold plunge, which is the new rage these days on social. But are you the person that actually gets in the water? Are you the person that reads those 10 pages of the book? Are you making the calls? Are you messaging the people on social media? Whatever you are scared to do, leaning into that, becoming consistent, it's the most powerful force you could possibly add to your life. It's that momentum when we're trying to build confidence, because the work instills the worth. Doing the activity is how we build our self-worth so that we have more to give the world. Number 2 is no vision, no value. When I was younger, I mentioned I got in trouble with the law and eventually ended up in a rehab center for 11 months. And it was in this program where I got coached and taught how to think about my internal value, my emotions, my self-worth. I had to rebuild all the relationships that I had fractured with my family and my positive friends out there. And throughout this program, I started to rediscover who I was at my core. And the thing that really created the most value for me was the transition plan. See, at the end of this program, part of the process was creating a document that talked about the life that I was going to create outside of this facility, the accomplishments that I was going to go after, my personal goals about getting my, high school diploma and, learning how to write code and all these different accomplishments. I wrote them down first before they ever became a reality. And what I realized is that if I don't have a vision for my life, where I want to go, then it's hard to stay motivated. Your self-value is going to come from accomplishing steps along the way to your big vision. And here's the cool part. It's not about being right. It's about just having a vision. You can lack the right direction, but that's way better than being indecisive about what you want to create. So I'm going to invite you to consider to think big, dream big, focus on having a vision that is big for your life, and trust that it's okay to change it as you discover there might be new preferences or opportunities that you want to explore. But sitting back, waiting for you to have clarity at 100%, that's where you're going to pull back on your ability to have the self-confidence to take action in the first place. Number 3 is the volume of work that you've got to do to build the confidence. I love telling the story about my son Max. He started this fingerboard tech deck thing where he would, play with these boards and try different tricks. And man, he put in dozens of hours, if not hundreds of hours of trying these different tricks. And some of them, it took him a long time to perfect, but over time, he kept putting in the hours, showing up, doing the work. Sometimes I'd catch him after he went to bed, he would wake up and he'd start playing even more when he's supposed to be sleeping. He was passionate about it. But because of this, he ended up building this whole tech deck world in his bedroom. And we even got one of the top guys on YouTube to respond and evaluate his video. Why? Because he put in so much work towards the skill. And I want to ask you, are you putting in the hours? Are you doing the reps? Are you showing up and making the cold calls? Are you sending the chats? Are you doing the marketing, but being unrealistic about it, like not just doing enough what everybody else will do, but actually going in and doing the reps and putting the effort and using the volume of activity to build the self-confidence. If I go out there and I run, 50, 60, 70 kilometers a week, it doesn't even matter how fast those kilometers are or the amount of elevation that I do during these runs. It's the fact that I've got the volume, that I build the base, that I start to build the confidence so that I can run the half marathons, the full marathon, the ultra marathons. That's my suggestion to you, is look at the volume of stuff you're doing. If you want to get great at things, if you want to build that confidence, are you putting in the amount of reps? That's so many that it would be unreasonable for you to consider you not being successful if you do that amount of work. Number 4 is to boost your confidence by helping others. One of the most powerful things you can do is to offer to help somebody else. And some of you guys may think, well, I don't feel very talented at this thing, or I'm just getting started at this. Well, here's what I know. You are one step ahead of somebody who hasn't even started. So it doesn't matter where you're at. I want you to offer your services for free. Give yourself freely to anybody that might want help. Just listen for opportunities to offer it. Recently I had a friend that went and spoke to a classroom, and initially she was super nervous about giving this talk, even though it was a bunch of kids, because she's like, I know this stuff, but I don't know if they're gonna like it, and what if they don't listen to me? And I mean, if you've ever given talks to kids, it's like the hardest thing ever. I'd much rather talk to adults. And at the end of it, she asked if there was any questions, and the hands started going up. And the kids asked really intelligent questions, which made her realize that what she shared was really valuable and that they got it. And there's nothing better than helping somebody else and getting them to give you feedback on how what you shared with them served them. So if you want to build your confidence, I'm going to highly recommend that you reach out to people, offer your service by coaching other people, consulting other people, just showing up and being a friend. That service will give you back the confidence. So the more you give, the more you're going to get back. So offer to mentor, offer to speak, offer to show up and teach whatever you know. Be free about it, because the information that we give away freely gives us permission to charge a premium for what we know how to do. So if you want to get more confidence, give so you have people asking you to help them and potentially get paid for it. That's the best way to feel confident, if people are willing to give you money for what you know. So quick recap, if you want to build your confidence, you have to keep the commitments you make to yourself. You need to have a vision for your life that is big so it'll pull you forward. You also need to focus on the volume of effort that you're putting it in to build that confidence. And last, offer to help others, coach others, mentor others, speak to other groups to build that confidence. If you like this episode, please be sure to share it with somebody you think it could serve. Subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know. And as I mentioned, I've got this incredible training called Future Living, where I teach you how to set a vision for your life, but live 6 months into the future where you're at today, so that you can take actions, you can show up with that energy to be able to accomplish your goals today. It's a model I created for one of my programs I'd love to share with you. So click the link below to watch that right away. And as per usual, I want to challenge you to live a bigger life and a bigger business, and I'll see you next Monday.